Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all! It's a Wednesday, hump day. Hopefully, you guys are having a great week. We're halfway through it. Before the haters come out, because I'm wearing a Ron DeSantis t-shirt, just know my Trump Vance sign is in the background. But I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Florida's fixing to get hit and is mildly already starting to get hit by a huge hurricane. In case you guys haven't been paying attention to the weather recently out there. And so Ron DeSantis has been a fantastic leader there in Florida. And so I'm wearing my Ron shirt to show him support and to let Florida know that I'm praying for them and I'm thinking about them. But don't let the haters fool you. I've got my Trump Vance stuff. I'm not one of them people who doesn't realize that Ron's not running for president anymore. I get it. But this was the only Florida shirt that I had. So I don't know what you want me to say. But if you've been watching this weather spectacular happen in Florida this week, or really the last 2 weeks or so, it's been insane. It really has been. And I was just watching a press conference with Ron DeSantis right now, and not just Ron, the law enforcement partners, the other state partners, and things like that. And it has been amazing to listen to them, and every single one of them have said the same thing. Ron DeSantis has been our leader. Like, we haven't had to wait. He's been ahead of the game on this. He's making sure that we have the resources we need as soon as we need them. It's refreshing to see somebody be ahead of the game and not wait until the typical 24 to 48 to 72 hour range. He's like, no, we know this is coming. Like, let's not play dumb games. Like, let's get these people the resources that they need, get people to where they need to be, make sure that families are being moved as they need to be moved, make sure that shelters are open. And he's doing a fantastic job there in Florida. Ron DeSantis, I love you, guy. We're praying for you there in Florida. Of course, our friend Kyan Michaels, she's a state rep there in the Jacksonville area, an angel mom, a friend of ours. So we have a lot of love for Florida. And the state troopers have been here. I just heard they were talking about state troopers are coming in from other states to come and help with what's going to be needed on a law enforcement scale there in Florida. So be in prayer for everyone that's affected in this storm path. Of course, we hear this all the time, but to have these two storms back to back the way that they have been, to see Florida, Florida has really kind of been off the limelight in terms of hurricanes in the last several years. Yes, they've had hurricanes, but they really are getting pounded right now. Last night we were watching the nightly news and whatever, and we heard more and more stories of people. We watched this one young couple. They had just bought their house. They had closed on it like 3 weeks before Helene had happened, and their house is completely demolished now. And the odd part to me is they said they didn't have insurance. I didn't think you could get a home loan without insurance anymore, but I mean, I get that every state is different. So that was kind of shocking to me. We've got family there. I've got family all over the state of Florida. I always have. But I have family that has been doing hurricane love, if you will, from Helene, and I'm certain that they are going to be busy with this one coming up as well. And yesterday she posted the sweetest thing. I'm pulling it up right now. I just saw it on my phone. And so I'm trying to I'm gonna pull her up really quick here. Hold on one second here. She and her husband are part of a group called 8 Days of Hope. And I want to show you this. This is so fantastic. So they're part of a Christian organization called 8 Days of Hope. They've been busy in parts of North Carolina, I believe, is where they have been deployed to. And anyway, she posted, hot here today, a Kona ice truck pulled up in our parking lot and told us that they had free icy flavored beverages for all of the volunteers, whatever flavor we wanted. John got one called Tiger's Blood, and I got one called Wedding Cake. Cold, crunchy, sweet, so wonderful. It continues to be individuals, churches, both big and small, businesses that have helped, not the government. And I think that that's important to note. Listen, I have another friend who works for a contractor of FEMA, and she's like, hey, we've been on the ground, we've been doing the work. Here's the deal, and here's one of the things that Ron DeSantis specifically talked about. Also, there's a lot of misinformation that is going around because people can monetize their posts, right? And then they can get paid for misinformation. And the truth is that these fact checkers, if you will, they don't really care about actual facts, whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent. Is FEMA doing things on the ground? Yes. Is it a crap show that they're only giving $750 to people? Yes. Is FEMA everywhere? No. But here's the problem is and this is something that we talk about here on Texas Fully Loaded all the time. It's not supposed to be about the government fixing our problems. Should they be there for a storm response? Absolutely. 1 bazillion %. FEMA has its responsibilities because that's what we give them our tax dollars for, right? That's how our tax dollars are allocated, is supposed to be helping our neighbors in need. But again, it was never the responsibility of the government to take care of this. This is that we, the people, work that we always talk about. This is the small businesses. This is the mom and pops. This is the local churches and the churches from out of state that are supposed to be the hands and feet in this situation. I saw a post yesterday, I think it was, and it said, please don't give money to Salvation Army. Please give money to Samaritan's Purse. Please give money to local organizations that you know are going into these areas and doing God's work. That too needs this money. So the Red Cross does not need your money. Let me help you right now. The Red Cross is not the Red Cross from 40 years ago. It's not. It's not. It is not the same Red Cross that it was 40 years ago. It's not the same Red Cross that it was 30 years ago. Samaritan's Purse, however, is doing God's work where it needs to be done. 8 Days of Hope that my cousin is associated with, they're doing God's work where it needs to be done. I'm certain there is many, many more that are doing God's work where it needs to be done, but they need you. So find them. The SBC, the Southern Baptist Convention, has always had great organizations that have gone into these little areas or big areas during a disaster. And keep in mind, these are groups and organizations that are in this area already. Some of these people's homes were demolished or were flooded out or fill in the blank. And yet here they are turning around and serving other people in need. Because that's what God's people do, not what the government's people do. Now, that's not to say that there's not God's people in the government. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm promising you is that there are little mom and pop churches. There are organizations that are actually doing God's work and actually being in the hands and feet and actually being there for the people. Find them. It's not hard. I just gave you a few. And give into them. Give to those organizations that don't have these astronomical overheads. Give to these organizations that most of the time are run by retired people who just love Jesus. Yeah, that's how we make a difference. Here from Texas, we have our dear friend William. William, what's your last name? He's a city council in Sugarland William Ferguson. I guarantee you that he is putting together some stuff to take over because that's what he does. Well, last week told you guys about Dale Inman, who was putting together stuff to take over South Carolina and stuff like that. There are people here in Texas that are pouring into our friends on the East Coast. Please find them. Please find them and pour into those organizations. Please don't give to these big mega organizations. They don't need your dollars. They don't. They're not going to use them properly anyway. We tell you to shop local, also give local. Don't give to the no offense Walmart. Don't give to the Walmart corporations of the charitable world. Don't do it. Don't do it. Give to the mom and pops. Give to the mom and pops. Because those people are making the biggest difference. Let me say it to you this way. If they can afford to run commercials on every single major network, they're not the ones that need your money. Does that help you kind of digest it just a touch? I hope so. I hope so. Because those are the ones that are doing the things. It's important that we know where our charitable dollars are going. Look, if you've given to Red Cross in the past, I'm not faulting you. I'm not mad at you. My granddad loved to give to the Red Cross. The Red Cross, and what was the other one? The Red Cross and what's the one? Salvation Army. Red Cross and Salvation Army are not the same organizations that they were 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Not the same groups. Give to the local groups. Give to the missionary groups. They're out there, and my brain is just like, but they're there. If you don't remember any others, Samaritan's Purse, 8 Days of Hope. Those are two that I know are doing work. Firsthand, I know that they're doing work. And I don't want to hear the hater comments of, well, these people live in these hurricane areas. Shut up. Just shut up. It's not constructive. It's deconstructive. It's not comforting. These people live in a great area that you're just jealous that you don't live in. So shut up. It's just that simple. Florida's a great state. I love Florida. It's my second choice. World-class beaches, friendly people who are fixing to get their worlds rocked for a few days. You know, here was kind of some of the exciting thing that I love that DeSantis was saying. He's like, look, this storm is going to come. It's going to last. It's probably going to be gone by, this time tomorrow. He's like, it's going to be massive. Don't be dumb. Don't listen to jackasses on social media. One of the sheriffs, Sheriff White something like that. Anyway, I don't know where he was from. I heard it this morning. He's like, don't listen to jackasses, or don't be in the way of us having to take care of jackasses. I think is exactly what he said. And he's talking about people who aren't listening to the warnings that you've been given for a week. I think that makes sense. Like, they're being honest with you. I appreciate the bluntness of them. So, give to them. I'm certain that the law enforcement agencies, or fill in the blank, that is going to be there to take care of the law enforcement agencies and those that are trying to help rescue people, those are organizations that need you. Not the Red Cross, not Salvation Army, local organizations. Google it. If you've got time to go on to those websites to give, then you have time to just take that one extra step and put not Red Cross in your Google search. You know what I'm talking about? I know that you know. You do. Deep down you do. Okay? So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew those things before we go further. So pray for Florida, vote for Trump, and make America good. Okay, here we are. Now I want to. You're welcome. Just that simple. Now, sadly, Molly will not be joining us this week. She is teaching. Sad for us, good for her. She is teaching a homesteading class at her ranch. But she did ask. Anyway, she did ask that we shared this, and I said absolutely we will. As you guys know, I think we talked about it a little bit. But they are doing a fall festival. Sorry, I had an email that came in and it's not what I thought it was. Anyway, she has a fall festival that they're doing right there. Wait, hold on. Right there at Sovereignty Ranch. And if you're going to be in the area, or maybe you might want to travel for a long weekend, this is a long weekend, by the way. Our school district, we're taking 4 days. Other school districts are taking 3. Some aren't even having school this week. But if you can, go over. They're right there in Bandera. They're just outside of Fredericksburg. And they are having pumpkin patches, bouncy houses, barrel rides, Halloween costumes, all of the things, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 11 to 9 from now until November 3rd. Okay? So don't delay. Go today. Well, I say now. I meant like now, October 11th. October 11th through November 3rd. It's going to be fun. They're wholesome people. They love Jesus. They're voting for Trump. Make sure that you support them. And while you're there, they have these fantastic, they have a little cafe restaurant that is just, oh my gosh, amazing food. Here's what's funny. Y'all know me. So I like to make people try things. Especially if I already know it's going to be good. Well, they had, if you've never had them before, they're fantastic and they are the best there. But they had, they have meat dishes. Don't freak out. But they had cauliflower wings is essentially what they are. So it's cauliflower and they're prepared and made just like buffalo wings. And let me tell you, they're delicious. Now, Walter hates buffalo wings. Like he thinks that's like, I don't know. For a guy who loves as many weird things as he does, I don't know why he hates wings, but he does. And so Jack and me and Sandy were all there, and I ordered some of these buffalo wings, buffalo cauliflower wings things. And he was like, and I'm like, just try it. You're going to like it. And fully, like most of it. We actually accidentally ended up with 2 of them because I was raving about, wanting to get them. And so Jack ordered them also. So we ended up with 2 trays of these things. And they were fantastic. We took some of them back with us so that we could have some later. Kitten is coming to join the podcast so that we could have some later. And they were just fantastic. You can eat them cold. Obviously, it's just broccoli, but they're amazing heated. So make sure you eat them. And then they had this delicious pizza. Just go to Sovereignty Ranch. Go eat at the restaurant. Go do the pumpkin things with the kids. It's even if you don't have kids, you can still go. Like it's just fantastic out there. You get to see the ranch, you get to see the farm, you get to see the regenerative thing going on. Just trust me. Even they have abilities for you to stay the night if you'd like to stay a night. You can book a room and stay. You can book tiny houses. You can book a big house. You can book whatever you need to book. Just go, have fun, relax, enjoy just the serenity of being out there. Again, Sovereignty Ranch, go. Don't delay. Go today. Well, I mean, you can go today, but go the 11th. Go to the 11th. Yes. Thank you, Kitten. Kitten is helping with the broadcast. So you're welcome, my America. Let me see. What else do we have? I have things to talk about. I think Walter is actually going to be joining us at some point today, which would be fantastic because it's a struggle. It's a struggle bus to do. Like, I hate talking to myself for 2 hours. Well, I mean, I guess you're there, right? And Kitten's here. So it's not completely to myself, but it feels like it is a little bit. It's just like, you know what I mean? So it's nice to have some back and forth with another live figure. So hopefully he's going to be joining us in just a little bit. Because he's been taking a hiatus. There is a couple things that did happen. The sheriff from Frio County, which is in Walters SD, he passed away this week. He had been battling cancer, and you never know who knows who in Texas. You just don't. And so I saw the post first on Sheriff Soward's page. He talked about losing a good friend and this and third. And then Arthur's best friend's mom posted and talked about him as a person also, and how well the family knew him and this, that, and the third. Our South Texas is like one big family and one big neighborhood. And it's even better when we look around it, right? There was we were watching, not to jump back and forth, but we were watching The Voice last night, and one of the contestants that I believe made it on, I think Snoop Dogg picked him up. He's from Salado, Texas, and so it was like, yeah, Texas, like we're just one big happy family here in Texas. Yeah, we fight sometimes, but if you have a sibling, you know what it's like, right? Like you don't always get along. You gonna fight. You gonna fight. Sometimes care. Sometimes you may not even talk for a while. But at the end of the day, I can call you ugly, but don't let somebody else call you ugly. You know what I'm talking about? I answer the phone with my brother. Well, okay. I do call my brother something, but I can't repeat it because I got kids, little ones specifically. And so now I just call him ugly when he calls. Got to keep it PC. That's what you do. That's what you do. Anyway, so be in prayer. Jumping all over again. Be in prayer for Frio County and the sheriff's family. Let me pull up his name here. Give me 8 seconds here. I'll pull this right on up. Michael Morse. Pray for Michael Morse's family. Like I said, I have had several, surprisingly, people that you don't expect talked about what a great person he is. So just be in prayer for their family. I was going to pull up the thingy here. Anyway, so if you see, anyway, pray for Michael Morse's family. They're dealing with all of that. All right, what else do I have? I have it's too early for a commercial break. It is. I watched what I believe was most, if not all, of the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. I watched it this morning on YouTube. It said that it was like 28 minutes or something like that, and it didn't have any commercial breaks in it. It just kind of plowed through it, which I love. I liked it. I did. I liked it a lot because the guy, the I don't who runs 60 Minutes anymore. I can't think of the journalist's name. What I saw, I appreciated because he did push at her, whether you like it or not. He did, especially about the border. He really was calling her to task on the border, and she would not give a straight. Kitten, you can't play on the keyboard, buddy. And I need it for just a couple minutes. I'll turn it back off so that you can chase the mouse in a minute. He likes to play on the computer. He likes to chase the banner and stuff. He called her to task. He was like, hey, I've been covering this border for a long time. Like, you can't put all this on Trump. Like, in fact, y'all didn't do anything for 3 years. So, and then she's like, oh, well, we tried. And he's like, but you didn't. And she's like, well, it's because, and he goes, but you didn't. And now all of a sudden you did. So what's your reasoning for not doing it for the last 3 years? And then she'd try and change the subject back to, but we did something now. And he was like, that's fantastic, but why didn't you? And so there was a few moments where that happened. And at least but then I did see where people were saying that what was posted versus what was the actual show, that there was two different answers. Look, I haven't had time to research through all of that, nor will I take that time right now anyway. But the reality of it is that we've got this woman who is running for president, who was selected by the delegates, that is the proper way that it's, it's not, okay. It is the legal way that it's done. It is the legal way that it's done. Proof that you don't need to have a popular vote or a vote at all to be selected by the delegates. And if we were honest with ourselves, and I feel like we probably could be, feel like we probably could be. If we really wanted to see politics at its finest, I'm going to be controversial. So I'm owning it. What if the presidential race was never selected, was never even on a ballot? Because it doesn't need to be. It's selected by delegates. What if we did that? How fun would that be? I know I'm about to get booed by somebody, and that's okay. I'm about to be called crazy by somebody. But I'd like to ask questions. I think it's just fun. Let's play that game for a short minute. Let's pretend for 1 second that the popular vote doesn't matter for a presidential race, because it doesn't. And we did it all. Stop. Okay, Tim. Thank you. We did it all by delegates. Allegedly, the people that are paying attention. How fun would that be? Now, here's where it gets really exciting, because I like to stir the pot. When I went to the Texas, I've never been to the national convention. I would like to one day, but I've never been. It's quite expensive to go. I've never been, but I would like to one day. But in the Texas delegation, I have been to multiple times now. And there are people there, hold on to your britches, all you diehard Republicans who show up at every Republican thing that is available. There are people that are there as delegates that are not involved in politics. They don't do anything with the local party. And I'm about that. I'm all about that. I love it, in fact. I think it's one of my favorite parts. I do. Here's why. Here's why. Because it's not about a party, it's about the people. It's not about clubs, it's about we. Deep down. I know this is so unpopular. If I was Walter, I would not jump on right now because he's elected to the party. That was your warning if you're bold enough to seek it, or if you're even listening. But I mean, like, that's a fun controversy, isn't it? And then there's delegate seats that never even get filled. And then there's people who sign up as delegates and then they never show up. But what if we took this myth that the popular vote matters and we did away with it and we just let the delegates decide the presidential election? Because they're the ones that decide it anyway. Now I get it. We all, our voice matters. It does. And every other race except for the presidential race, number one. Number two, does that mean that we get rid of our yard signs and everything else? No, that can all still be there. The thing is that you do get to still be a cheerleader. Because, I mean, really, that's for the presidential election, that's all that you are. Unless you're a delegate. Unless you are the electric. It's a fun concept, right? Like, because that's how it is actually plays out. But we don't, we overlook that major detail. Because then we can't raise money that we can't have excitement and hype. We can't go around and tell everybody that their voice matters, but it doesn't for the presidential election. I mean, it does to an extent, but see, if we did it the proper way, if we did it the right way, not the way that we do it now, if we did it the right way, we, the people who were voting for everything else, but were wanting to have a say in a presidential election, we would be busy petitioning our electorate. We'd be busy making sure that the delegates were hearing from the people. You mean we would be, hold on. We would be involved in the process? Oh, we can't have that. Let's just tell them to go and vote on November 7th and all their wildest dreams will come true. It seems like that's better. Doesn't Kitten thinks that's better? Gumbo likes that better. But Sandra, if they don't think that they're voting for president, then they're not going to vote for the down ballot candidates. Well, first of all, they're not, half the time they don't vote for the down ballot candidates anyway. Fake number, I know. But towards the very bottom of the ballot, they don't vote. Again, we have the whole concept of how government works backwards because of how the ballot's written. So let's break it down to a precinct voter. Because even if you can vote countywide, you still vote for your precinct, which starts with your city council people. And then your county government. So it starts with your city government, then your county government, then your state government, then your federal government. But that's not the way it's written on the ballot, so nobody gives a damn. And that's the biggest Greek tragedy of them all, where you actually have a voice, where your democracy matters, you don't give a damn. But where the republic matters, you think it should be a democracy. It's the most crazy mind screw ever. Here's my challenge to you. When you walk in to vote, or if you're doing a mail-in ballot, however you're voting, don't start at the top of the ticket and work your way down. Start on the bottom of the ticket. Now, I know if you've got one of those electronic ballots, you can't do that. You can't. But if you're a fortunate soul that still has a paper ballot, I challenge you to start at the bottom and work your way up. That's great. You get to go and cast your vote for Donald Trump. It's not going to matter once the delegates get a hold of it. And if you pay attention on election night with whatever channel you watch, I'm pointing over there because that's where my office television is. For whatever channel that you watch, they always say, the Electoral College, the Electoral College, the Electoral College. We have to get to 276, the Electoral College, the Electoral College, the Electoral College. But here's what the popular vote says. But here's what the popular vote says. You matter, but you don't. Yeah. See what it does? It's like, ooh, here's a dollar. And if you pay attention, the Democrats literally just taught America that the popular vote does not matter. They literally taught you that your vote in a presidential election does not matter. It's up to the delegates. That's why I was really praying that there'd be some boldness from some Democrats somewhere, which I know that's a funny statement. I know, haha. That they would have had a floor fight for the presidential vote. For the Democrat nomination. Let me rephrase that. I wish they would have had a floor fight for the Democrat nomination. That would have been the icing on the bingo card this year. But there's no Democrats of courage, so we knew that wasn't going to happen. But there's more money to be made by making you believe that your voice matters in a presidential election. It's the delegates. And if I were a presidential candidate, clearly I'm not, my mindset would be, I need to focus on the delegates. I have to focus on the delegates. I have to focus on the delegates. Do you know how much money could be saved? Let's play the blame the government game for a second. How much of these millions of dollars could be saved during a primary and could be better used for hurricane cleanup? Because as much as we talked about it on this show, the reality of the fact is FEMA is going broke, yes. FEMA is only giving $750 to an individual, yes. But it's because of how money was allocated. Hard stop. Money needs to be allocated better. Money needs to be better allocated in campaigns. And it's not. Because everyone thinks we have to have the big commercials. Everyone thinks we have to make sure that everyone can get the yard signs, which, look, I got a yard sign in my yard. I had yard signs when I was running, because when I was running for office, the popular vote matters. And there's such a disconnect in education that people don't understand the difference. They just think they go and vote. I know I'm being really radical this morning. I ate my Wheaties. Actually, I did eat something, but now I'm feeling quite peckish. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I should take a commercial break and eat something super fast in 2 minutes. It's not prepared. It's fine. I do feel a little bit more like myself. Let me, I don't want to jump all over, but I'm going to jump all over. Let's take a commercial break. Then we'll come right back. So grab your friends, grab some Wheaties. Let's take a commercial break, and I'm going to do a long commercial break. That way I have a second to grab some Wheaties. I'm going to take the 3.5 minute commercial break, and then we'll be right back. So get your friends and get back on here. Gosh darn it. I'm going to keep educating people. I don't care if it's not popular. enjoyable. I haven't seen some of those pictures in a long time. I miss you people. Okay. I had a little fake pizza, a little Ritz cracker, a little pepperoni, a little mozzarella, just so I could have the energy to be more fiery. I was literally, okay, this is true. Don't forget to support our show. Like and share each episode. Exfullyload.com. Okay, this is true. This is true. I was in there and I was like, maybe I was being too much. I do think that sometimes, just so we're clear on this. Like, maybe I'm not being enough. If I ever ran for office again, they would absolutely use this against me. And that's fine. I stand by what I say. I'm not like Tim Walz. I don't just go around and spew stupid shit. I did. I enjoyed that 60 Minutes interview. I know a lot of people didn't. One of my favorite internet critic posts that I saw was talking about, they said, I believe that Kamala Harris owns a Glock as much as I believe that Obama's straight, and it had like all these lies that have been told on the campaign trail. And I laughed and I was like, actually, I believe that she owns a Glock. I 100% believe that she owns a handgun. And she made a valid argument because she's been in law enforcement and she was a district attorney and all of those things and, you know, personal safety and blah, blah. I absolutely believe that she owns a handgun. 1,000,000% do I believe that she owns a handgun. And here's why. Because she pisses off a lot of people. And she can sit here and talk about being gun safe and all this other bullshit until she's blue in the face and taking guns out of bad guys' hands. She doesn't believe that she's a bad guy. So why wouldn't she have a handgun? Here's the real question. I don't understand why more women do not own handguns. I have two. Actually, that's not true. I technically have more. I believe in the fundamental right to be able to protect yourself, regardless of what is politically popular. And if you get your head out of your ass, she believes the same. She doesn't believe that other people should own handguns. And she believes that she should get to choose and decide who's a good guy and who's not a good guy, which is not what our Second Amendment says. But I believe that she owns a handgun. So I'm gonna have to punch you guys in the nose on that one. You're done. Don't be stupid. She absolutely owns a handgun because she has to protect herself from you. Did you not see all these pictures that have been populating about her with all these little nasty boys back in the 90s in California? Trust and believe, honey, she owns a handgun. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Y'all need to get over yourselves. I think it's part of my frustration, I think, with all this stuff. I'm going to be for real with you. This is the problem, right? I'm going to go back to Ron DeSantis's press conference over here about the hurricane. Don't believe everything you see online. Just because it's on the interwebs doesn't mean it's true. I actually shared something. This was kind of funny. I shared something the other day on social media because I think it's important that people know this. This is true. This is very important. Hold on, let me find it because I want you guys to see truth. Truth in action. Truth in action, as I like to call it. No, it was a couple days ago. No, it wasn't that far back. Give me a second here. It was a good PSA for the world. They took it down. Look. No wonder I couldn't find it. They took it down because people had been responding to it. Look, this content isn't available right now. They took it down. So what it was a picture, because you know how all these pictures of people being rescued and stuff are out, which is I'm all for. But it was pointing to the fact about misinformation, right? And so it had a picture of a dog, a little doggo, a big doggo, carrying a little girl through floody waters, right? And of course it was satire, folks. But because people are so ignorant and so stupid, that got taken down, no doubt, for spreading misinformation. That's real talk. That's real talk. I wonder. Now that Kitten's not here, I can turn my keyboard back on because he's not going to tap dance all over the keyboard now. Let me see if I can find it, because this is literally what we're dealing with here, just so that we're all clear on this. Wow, they deleted the whole thing from the interwebs. Shameful. Shameful for all of you spreading misinformation like myself. Because, I mean, look, here's the deal. First of all, if people are dumb enough to think that that was a real image, then they deserve what they get. You know, I don't believe in Darwinism by any stretch of the imagination, but there is some merit to some survival of the fittest. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's a little bit of merit to some survival of the fittest. And if you're dumb enough to think that a dog is walking on its hind legs carrying a girl through floodwaters, you deserve whatever you get. It's just that simple. You do. Because that's just who you are, honey. I get it. That's just who you are. I'm gonna have a hard turn for that one in a minute. But listen, here's the deal. If you are busy phone banking, make sure, or block walking or whatever, please make sure that you're talking about the down ballots. Please make sure that you're talking about your city council races. Go Vanessa Perez. Please make sure that you're talking about every single race on the ballot. But start from the bottom up. Start from the bottom up. Because the bottom up is who controls what really happens in your world, not the top down. I often reminisce about this, about how I had the honor of partnering up with Frank Pomeroy the first time I ran, because Frank was running for state senate. And it was fantastic because we were able to literally educate people on the differences of the offices. That was the joy of partnering up with the local politicians and the people in the different counties. Because people assume that a road issue is a congressional issue, but it's not. It's not. Interstate commerce is a congressional issue. But the potholes over on 3rd Street is a city council issue. You know what I'm talking about? P.S. I just made up 3rd Street, but I'm sure there's potholes on it. So I have nothing to do with that. I need to send it over to the city council person. Oh, but what about the water issues that are out and where there's not a city council in this part of the county? Oh, you're right. That's a county issue. Let me send you to this county commissioner. Because I promise you that those issues affect your daily life far more than anything that's happening at the top of the ticket. Do we need to be involved in our federal government? Absolutely. That's what a House of Representatives is for. That is what our Senate is for. We should be pestering and pounding and writing those people like we think we do for the presidential race. We're not. I am excited. There's going to be a debate between Colin Allred and Ted Cruz on October 15th. So get your popcorn ready, honey, because you know we're going to be talking about it. I am so excited about this debate. I really am. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Texans. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to see some truth. I hope. I mean, the truth could probably be that they're both pathological liars. But it's going to give us something that we need desperately for this race because it's not looking good. It's really not. Texans are really angry with Ted Cruz. They are on both sides of the house or both sides of the aisle, however you want to say it. And I know we're out there pushing the Ted Cruz banner. Because he's better than a Democrat. But when was the last time he showed up in your hometown and listened to what you had to say and not turned it around and said, I know better. I'm in the Senate. I might know more than you. He doesn't. He doesn't. Or he'll do the, yeah, no, we're working on it. Okay, let's take a picture. And that's a problem. That's not leadership. You want to talk about a politician that only shows up when it's time to get your vote? That's Ted Cruz. But then we have the other side where it's Colin Allred. He literally is voting, has voted to put boys in girls' sports. And here comes the lesser of two evils conversation now. And yes, Simon, I'm saying it. This is why the primaries matter, folks. Because now we're at the lesser of two evils moment that we come to every 2 to 4 years or 6 in the Senate. Well, they're better than the Democrat. If we would get out of that mentality back in March, we wouldn't have to hold our nose and vote in November. Please show up at town halls. Please show up at candidate forums. Please go to these things and hold these people to the fire. That is your responsibility as we the people. Maybe you have an opportunity where you can be on the backside and you don't have to be where all the lights are. Maybe you can just pick up the phone and be like, what the hell are you doing? And if you have that ability, you have the greatest responsibility. Because you have the responsibility to be able to be that friend to that politician and say, hey, thinking about you. You remember when we were kids? Or you remember when? So tell me, why did you vote like this then? And most of the people that watch this show, believe it or not, you know, the ones that don't ever comment or like or anything because they don't want people to know they're watching this show. I know that you're there. It's okay. I love you too. Or as my Facebook post is, hold on a second. It's my favorite profile picture of all time. And this is for all of the people who just watch my shit. You're welcome. That's for all the people who just watch my shit. You're welcome. It's fully loaded. But you have an obligation and a responsibility to call that representative, state or federal, local, and say, what the hell are you doing? We can't keep doing this good old boy system of politics. We can't just keep being a campaign speech and not following through on our promises when we get to our office. And we can't just follow through on some of them because it's politically expedient. We have to be the people that they promised us, that we promised them that we would be. You might just be a staffer. You might just be a volunteer. You might just be an old college friend. Your kids might just be in school together, but you have access to that person. Don't don't take that access lightly. Covet that access because you get to be the ear in the ear of that person that nobody else can be. Hey, can you vote like our kids are standing in front of you for just 1 second, please? Hey, can you do your political deals like our kids are watching? It's great for the masses to shout that, but if you have the sacred ability to be able to talk to that person one on one without a crowd, without that video camera rolling for that gotcha moment that we can put on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or fill in your blank, be that person. Quit being the person that's looking for a gotcha. Quit being the person that's looking for the next way to be the next internet sensation. It's not worth it, trust me. Be that quiet friend in their ear. That's a way more powerful place to be. It is. That is real, we the people work. Anyone can be in a crowd yelling. Anyone can be surrounded by a whole bunch of people in the same t-shirt. Anyone can just be a face in the crowd. But no, you, you who's listening in secret, you're the one that can make a difference. You're the one that can block those bad people from getting to your rep or your senator or your council person or your committee person. You can be that voice of reason in the room, even if you have to wait a few minutes to get to it. You can be that phone call. You can be that prayer. I don't know who's watching this show right now that needs to hear this, but be that person. You don't have to be the elected official to make the decisions, to do the right thing. You just have to be the voice in the room that is encouraging them to do the right thing and not just go with the flow. And then look, you have the ability when that person is not who they say that they are to walk away and be the voice of saying, hey, this is not who they said that they were going to be. They lied to everyone. They even lied to me. And you know what? I've paid that price. I'm still paying that price. And it freaking sucks some days. It's not about just being popular. It's about doing the right thing for our country, for our state, for our counties, for our communities. That's who we are supposed to be. The other week, we were in New Mexico, and I told you guys about this, and I was given the opportunity to speak at a Yvette Harrell event, and it was such an honor. It was kind of it was a question and answer kind of deal, and I said, if you don't mind, and I was given full reign of the floor, and it was wonderful. The people in New Mexico were fantastic. The elected officials were fantastic. The soon to be elected officials were fantastic. But being able to just be in that room with those people and encourage and empower, That I miss. Like, if I never get elected to anything, that's okay. I'm not running to be popular. I'm not right now. I'm not running for anything but a taco truck, and they're in short demand. It's not okay. We need a margarita truck on every corner. That's what I'd be running on, but not with that fake stuff like tequila, please. That other stuff gives you a headache. Be encouragement. Look, maybe you're watching this show and you don't have access to any elected officials. You don't have access to their staff, which I mean, technically you do. You just got to show up. Maybe it's something at your job. Maybe it's something or someone in your circle. The same thing still applies to you. Because that's who we are. And look, it doesn't always feel good to do the right thing, just so that we're all clear on this. Especially when you see like a huge like cloud over it, and you're like, that's the weight of the world right there. I mean, we can just put another up underneath of it though, and then it's not so heavy. And so then I ain't gotta wear it. You know what I'm talking about? And everything is not always in black and white. We like to everything's in black and white. Everything's good and wrong. It's right and wrong. Everything's black and white. If everything was black and white, emotions wouldn't exist, just so that we're all clear on this. Like, that's just hard facts. If everything was black and white, we would be robots. It's not. Everything is not black and white. And yes, there is a right and a wrong. But sometimes it's not always obvious. And sometimes it's not always as plain as the nose on a face, especially when you have 900 voices circling around you. What are you doing about it? Are you just hiding, hoping that it goes away? Because it doesn't. It doesn't. It manifests itself. It always does. It's just like a piece of shrapnel. Whether it's in your eyeball or whether it's in your leg. It's there. Sometimes you don't really feel it. But then someday something that has nothing to do with it affects it. And it irritates that little wound. It keeps trying to surface itself up and it starts festering. I really don't know who needs to hear this message. Somebody does. So I'm giving it. Be a salt and light. I don't know. But somebody needed it. We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back. back with a huge thank you to you. But make sure you go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on hashtag We the People Work. You can also go to PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, all at Texas Fully Loaded. Because we need you. Also, don't forget to like and share every episode. Because yeah, we need that too. It helps us break up the algorithms, get some crazy talk out there into the world. I gave Walter a call. He must be very busy, which he usually is when he's back with his boys. So I probably am going to cut the show short because yeah, I'm not like sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just shouldn't beat a bush. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot happening in the world, so be a part of it. Don't take anything for granted or anyone for granted. Make sure that you're praying again for our friends out in Florida and those in the path. It looks, unless something changes, because I mean that happens with hashtag weather. Make sure that you're praying for people in that path and that it doesn't turn. If it continues its course and it just keeps going, it should just go right through Florida and go away, which would be nice. I wanted to share this before I go away. I want to share this video I saw. I think a lot of times people don't really appreciate or understand the power of prayer. Um, People don't understand the power of redemption. They don't understand the power of and the freedom of Christ. And this video came across my newsfeed, and I shared it, and I want to share it now with y'all. We as blanket Christians, and I don't mean to give any offense to anyone's belief, unless it's not true. It's just that. But Satan is very much at work in this world. Okay. The stories from the Bible, they're not just stories from the Bible. Like it still really happens. Satan really does still send his minions into people and really does take possession of people. And there really is deliverance in Christ Jesus. There really, really is. In this video, I'm just going to put this back up or put this up. Know that there's a lady that's being baptized right now. And she looked, I need this to like play properly. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Let me do it this way. There is more than one way to skin a Facebook cat. You know what I'm talking about, but not my sweet little kitten. Okay, just so we're all clear on this. This lady truly had a deliverance moment with the one and true God. I'm gonna pull this. Okay, this lady is this is just amazing. I'm not gonna talk about it. I want you to see it. I want you to see it.
For the fight of my life, hit my knees and I strap on my gloves. Boy, I've been prepping since like I was 7, and thing is I'm already covered in blood. Walking in love, this for the ones who've been stuck in the mud, searching for hope. Trust me, I know what it feel like to drown on my problems, but God came and threw me the rope. Can't wait to look in his eyes. All of my life I've been battling lies. I found the truth and took off my disguise. Come for my head, I still live for the prize. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was in the city going down, trying to blow. Everything changed when I learned to let it go. Hopping on stage, I ain't in it for the show. All I got one life, so I gotta let them know. Talk about real. I seen a man's whole bad hill. I seen a woman drooling out the mouth. I seen the demons in the cast it out. I seen my brother throw his whole vape in the lake. Seen smooth heal from the dark. I seen the spirit change my own heart. Can't tell it all, but this a good start.
That is the Jesus that we serve. If you think there's something off with somebody, you're probably right. They could really be suffering from something. Something they may not have any control over. So pray for them. Keep sharing Jesus with them. Hey, they start hissing when you start talking about Jesus. It's not just from a movie, y'all. It just means you need to pray even harder. I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy your hump day. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.